We're not only here to celebrate their success, but we're also here to understand a little bit more on what makes them so successful and how they overcome challenges as they go about building their legacy. So I'm going to start with you, Hemlata. When you have an audacious dream of building the Tesla of India, how do you go about breaking this? How do you go about breaking the stereotypes of that the stereotypes that women don't?
And I think manufacturing is something that I was just very intrigued. How come, why women are not coming into manufacturing? That was the thought that first came. Then I just did a little bit of research and analysis, and I found that it was completely male dominated. Completely, even in production lines. So even in our factory, when I wanted to put women workers on the assembly line, my general manager said that no, women will not be suitable. So I think I saw him as a bottleneck, so just removed him actually. Because it will not work, because I think we just have to move on. So I don't think that, of course there are stereotypes, but I think you just have to see that and you just have to remove it and you have to just keep going, number one. And number two is that what I found is that, there is tremendous support available in the ecosystem. I think when people look...
being young and being idealistic as I was then, it was almost an outrage internally for me that if this is happening in the world, then I need to play a part in, kind of equalizing that. So I think that experience really stuck with me. It still does. The second is, I guess, as we work, or as my team started working with children, we noticed how much of a difference we can make if they are given some support in the early years of their lives. So the second one would be a vision of a more equal society. These two things is something that once I started off a decade back, I never could wipe away, and that's exactly what drives me and my team. So that's basically it.
You admire in him, and more importantly, what are the qualities you admire but are finding it difficult to replicate?
I think I've been very privileged to have a father who believed in the value of relationships. Mm-hmm. And I think I have seen him, I have seen him go through the nth degree when it comes to any relationship. So in any situation, always follow through what he commits to. And I think it's been very challenging, obviously, to be able to adapt that trait in my own way. But definitely it was that particular trait and his persistence and attention to detail. So I would say three things to summarize would be his ability to manage relationships, his persistency, and his attention to detail. And I think obviously all three of them are very hard to do, but one keeps striving to do it and do it as well as him at least. So, yeah.
Okay. And when you're building a business in an emerging space like you're doing with Antra, what are the challenges you face?
At the take 3 hours to answer that question, so let me try and do it as quickly as I can. I think first and foremost, we really are the first in India to be doing it in this model, at this price point, at this location, and in such a holistic way. So I think educating clients, families of clients, future clients of really why we exist and why we will create value in quality of life has probably been the biggest challenge, but a challenge I've been very fortunate to overcome over the last 2.5 years. And I always say this, I think because Antara is so much about service delivery, but you can't get there till you actually haven't put the brick and mortar together. Putting the brick and mortar for me, and we were just chatting about that, which is essentially, constructing the spaces. I'm a bit of an OCD freak, so I can't outsource that. Right. And so I've in a way created the whole for myself, but I think that's my second biggest challenge. I don't enjoy the construction part of it, but the fact is it's inevitable for me to really create the beauty that I want to create. So,
and when you're also building a business, around consumer behavior, are there times when you say, I can do this better and I understand things better, or I have a better perspective on things?
For us, the way we understand this is at Future Group, we believe that there are two kinds of energies. One is the masculine energy and the other is the feminine energy. I think, luckily for me, my father and me are more blessed with the feminine energy. We understand, we feel, we empathize, we have the ability to create. So maybe that is what gives us a better edge while we
definitely a roller coaster. I just spent 3 days with a set of auditors trying to explain what I do and why it's important. And today I'm here endorsing Beetle and wearing PC jewelers. So clearly. But thank you so much for appreciating the work that we do. A big shout out to my
faced and how your stubbornness saw you through it.
So I remember this one conversation, this is early on when I started out, and I had started 2 things at the same time, 2 ventures. And I was having a conversation with a big donor, who could come on board. And he said, Pooja, you can't pull both of these off. You've got to give up one of these. And I was so angry that someone was telling me I couldn't do something that I wanted to do. And in a typical, when I get angry, I cry as well. And I think that totally threw the funder off. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. This woman started crying. But I was just so angry. And I said, I kind of took a moment and said, I respect your opinion, but I'm never going to let anybody else tell me what I can and can't do.
Say I can't do it and watch me prove you wrong.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Driving me that 1 out of 6 people in this world is an Indian, and we need to have genomic equality in this world for that. The other thing that drives me is that 1 out of 2 in the world is a woman, and we need to get equality, whether it's in innovation, science, or any other field that we choose. So I'd like to thank everybody else, all the scientists and people who took us to where we are today in the field of genomics. But more importantly, I think to my team, one of them who's sitting here, Pooja, but the rest of everybody else who's made Map My Genome where it is, my family who supported me, and everybody else for taking the Genome Patri test. And if you haven't, please do.
Anu, gene studies are a new and rather exciting, controversial topic. What is your view on the impact these studies will have on the future of mankind?
So I think it depends on what you can do with technology. I think sometimes technology is inevitable, so you can't prevent it from happening. But I think as human beings, I have faith in humanity that we won't do everything wrong, and there are enough checks and balances that will keep us intact. So I believe in the good of humanity. I think we'll be able to make best use of it. But it's important that all of us understand that there is a need to be able to make sure that we use technology in the right space. So things like CRISPR and others are a little scary at this point. But so were many other things that we thought were going to be scary, but they weren't. So I think that's my hope, and that's where the future will take us.
Anu, before you go.
Thank you.